Hello, here is a little bonus edition of Two IPs in a Pod, recorded at the reception held after CIPA's recent event, UK Patent Drafting and Litigation, Myth, Legend and Reality, or Meet the Judges, as we called it informally. Take a listen as I wander around the delegates with my high-tech combi microphone and digital recorder, listening to their feedback. It really was a great event, bringing together some of the UK's leading intellectual property judges and almost 200 members. I hope you enjoy it. On with the show.
Lee Davis and Gwilym Roberts are the Two IPs in a Pod, and you are listening to a podcast on intellectual property, brought to you by the Chartered Institute of Patent Attorneys.
Well, Gwilym Roberts, fancy me finding you here after your busy day you've had. So
It's been a bit busy, hasn't it? It's been fun though. Lots of 2 podcasts and 6 judges.
So you invested a huge amount in this, didn't you? Kind of the idea, the time, the energy, the enthusiasm. How'd it go, mate?
Oh, thank you. Quite stressful even so. The judges have been brilliant. They just said, yeah, we'll come. And they turned up and I sent them all the questions. And yeah, we'll answer anything. And then obviously in the actual event, they were just cheerful as anything and answered everything really openly. And quite very funny.
They were very funny, weren't they? They were really funny.
Bunch of people.
Yeah.
So, no, chuffed about it. A bit tired.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Well, we've already got to get through dinner now. So, well done you. And I'm going to go and find a few people to talk to.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Lee.
So I am here at the post Meet the Judges event, after party, with a number of CIPA members who are going to introduce themselves because there's far too many of them for me to do so.
Hello, I'm Celia, known of CIPA Council and obviously Professional Development Working Group and Kilburn and Strodes. And yes, it's all very good here, very noisy.
And who are you?
I'm Debbie Slater, I'm on CIPA Council and I've come all the way from Manchester to be here today.
All the way from Manchester.
It was worth it, wasn't it?
I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I could have sat there and just listened to them chat for a lot longer, actually.
Well, they did like to talk, didn't they? So, yeah.
Well, yes, but it was nice the way it was so candid. Really, it was, and to get an insight into what they had to what they were thinking about, how the law changes and the impacts that it's going to have on the profession. And I thought they were very, very, very complimentary about the CIPA.
So it's the first time we've done one of these, Celia. How did it work for you?
I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Obviously, pivotal that Gwilym was chairing, otherwise it wouldn't have worked as well. But it was really good. I liked the audience participation at the end. That was really key for me. But obviously, judges always speak really well. But they actually provided some really useful advice. That was really good.
And they were a little bit human, weren't they? And funny.
Whoa, what was that about?
As I say, I could have listened to them for another hour, to be honest, because I did think that their insights. Because we sort of not necessarily put them on a pedestal, but they're these sort of people that make judgments, and you could see that they were real human beings.
I think we'll do it again and maybe make it a slightly longer session, yeah?
I think it needs to go longer. Lots of questions, yeah. We could have gone on, as you said.
Thank you both for sharing that with me.
Our pleasure.
I'm at the Meet the Judges after party with current CIPA Vice President Bobby Mukherjee and former council member James Cross. So, hello both. How are you?
Very well, and what I particularly love is meeting all these wonderful friends and colleagues in the profession. So James and I, we go back a long way, don't we, James?
Yeah. We used to work for Jenkins, well, I'm still there, and it's just nice to kind of meet everyone in person again. It doesn't happen often enough.
So this is the first time we've been able to get a number of UK judges together in one place and then give our members the opportunity to speak to them. Bobby, how did it go for you?
I thought it was a very impressive panel, and I thought the human element shone. We always think about the cases, but actually it's the humans behind the cases that matters. And to see how they all interacted in a very open way was refreshing.
They had a bit of personality and some humour, didn't they?
It had a lot of personality and sense of humour, and I loved that.
So James, what about you? What's your takeaway?
Well, I thought they were very nice to us. They told us what a wonderful job we were doing, which is great, that's good to know. I would like a bit of constructive criticism, but they weren't going to be drawn on that.
Thank you both for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you very much for doing a great podcast.
Just for initially the microphone, can you tell me who you are?
Sure, I'm Joel David Briscoe. I'm from BAT.
And you are?
I'm Rob Sansby. I'm founder of Lucidity IP.
How was it for you, John?
It was amazing. I think when it comes to training as a patent attorney, because I'm still a trainee, I'm always thinking ahead. I've got my qualification and then I've got the litigation skills course to do. And I've never actually heard a judge, who's Hakon, who said he thought he expected to see much more of us in the court at the IPEC court, and that I think was a big eye opener for me, because something I've thought naturally that I would try and do anyway. So I'm kind of curious now as to why many of my colleagues aren't doing that. So I'm going to be asking around a few questions, see what the big pain point is for people. But it's also part of the reason why I wanted to bring the moot court in as well, back to the informal. So it's been a really great day.
And of course, litigation will play a bigger part in our members' lives with the UPC, rights of representation there, and so on. So, Robert, how did it go for you? What's your big takeaway?
As Joel iterated there, it's fantastic to hear from judges themselves that up close and in person, rather than judges and these decisions at High Court and Court of Appeal seemingly to be such a distant world from what we do in our day-to-day jobs sometimes. But I think the big takeaway from us is, for me personally, is to hear how they consider claim amendments and and the knock-on effect on description amendments in particular. Is sometimes description amendments to us as patent attorneys can sometimes feel like a bit of a pain and a bit of a unnecessary chore at times, and particularly sometimes before the EPO it can feel like you're perhaps being pushed down one line in order to get the application over the line. But to hear it from their perspective as to how this can have a knock-on effect during litigation, that was a really, really useful takeaway.
Thank you both. Oh, Joe, you want to say some more?
Yeah, can I just also say as well, it's the first time I've actually seen these people in real life. I know them very well from their judgments, and it's really nice to see how, the way they write, it also really reflects their own personalities, and I thought that was really interesting as well. Just a quick aside, I found out these judges are actually human.
They had personalities and a sense of humour.
They do. I was really surprised. They cracked some jokes, and I was laughing, believe it or not.
Thank you so much, both.
No worries, thank you.
So I'm here with Joita now, who was one of our panellists on the Meet the Judges event. So Joita, how was that for you?
Well, I thought it was fantastic. I thought the judges interacted really well. They were very open with the answers and the comments and from the questions that were being put to them. Even the controversial one that yours truly did ask them. So I think it was a real success from what I hear, and everyone's enjoyed it. So hopefully we can repeat it.
Oh, we absolutely need to repeat it. So one of the things that struck me was there were a lot of members here. How did it feel on that panel, looking out on that big audience?
Wow, it was something I haven't experienced before. I mean, I've done international conferences where I've been mentors, but here it was fantastic turnout, and seeing very familiar faces. I think they were looking at me to make sure I don't mess up. But I've only had good feedback during the networking session, so it was great.
I know, you're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. So, Aaron, you've attended this CIPA event, Meet the Judges, informally called. How did you find it?
I found it really interesting. It was very nice to see the different side to our profession. The people who actually look at a patent that's been granted and determine whether it's valid, whether it's infringed. It's kind of what we do our job for, but we often don't get to see that side. And it was fascinating hearing their insights.
And you don't often get to see, you don't get to see judges singular, but to see them in the plural.
Yeah, exactly. And the way they could have sometimes discussed the topic about each other. I don't think they all generally agree, but sometimes there was some sort of little bits of disagreement between the two. But obviously very diplomatically handled. Everyone's very articulate, and which I guess figures they're judges, so I was very impressed with that.
So over to you, Tom. What's your takeaway? What did you get from this that you're going to kind of take away?
Well, it was quite an entertaining, actually quite a funny event to come to. I suppose the thing that I wouldn't normally do is you're so immersed in the detail of what you're doing every day. You often don't take a step back and think about the fact that you're a part of a wider system. And there's lots of players there, and actually zooming out and getting to see the bigger picture, that's what I got from today. I thought it was really interesting.
Thank you both so much, appreciate that.